We ready? 5 seconds. Start. Sir, the Essential Commodities Act was passed 5 years, and when the minister yesterday came with an amending bill, we expected that he would give us a brief report on the working of this measure for the last few years, but unfortunately we are kept in the dark in the regard to the exact working of the act and the nature of the difficulties the minister is facing. Sir, as far as I know, many of the provisions of this enactment have been observed more in violence by his agents at the state level. The food ministers may be earnest, may be very able, and may be very anxious to see that the various provisions of the Act are implemented in the most effective manner at the state level, but unfortunately, his agents at the state level are not equally enthusiastic or equally anxious to observe the position of the his enactment. The most important objectives of his enactment are to the control the supply and distribution of commodities and to maintain a stable price level. In regard to both these aspects, I am afraid that the government has failed to realize the objectives in view. Some time passed when there was scarcity of food grains. Attempts were made to make procurement from certain wholesome merchants and from rice mills. In my own state, I know of many instances of such procurement where, after making known that certain things had to be done and certain steps had to be taken by the merchant commodities, nothing was done later on by the government when they found that these very order of the government were violated. As a result of the violence, there was a consequent rise in the price of food grains. In respect of other commodities like iron or steel, paper, etc., we see a lot speculative activities, but the provisions of the Act have not been brought to bear on them. Perhaps no case of prosecution was launched against those people who contravened the various provisions of the Act. We are interested to know in how many cases the government have been stepped to prosecute individuals who have violated the various sections of the Act. The minister said that the powers under the Act were not adequate. We are sympathized with the food grains, but I want to know what action has been taken in regard by the various state governments.